Welcome to another episode of Obsessed with Guitars. I am Paul, your host, and this week I'm eating a little bit of crow because, yeah, there are actually manuals for the Ceriatone AH50. I am eating a little bit of crow from last week's episode. There was just no printed one in the box when I opened up the amplifier, so I just kind of assumed that there wasn't a manual for it. Every amplifier I've owned previously and bought always came with one. But I guess in an effort to save trees, they're not printing out a manual to put in the box, which is actually kind of a good move. I appreciate that, Ceriatone. So I've downloaded it and I've gone over some of the various switches. If you see me refer to my phone, that is what I am doing because, of course, I can't memorize absolutely everything about this amplifier inside of the short amount of time that I have before I have to go back inside the house and make lunch. So let's go over this thing pretty thoroughly as much as I can. Now, you'll notice I'm not wearing hearing protection. I'm actually using my good old Bad Cat Unleash here, which is a nice little attenuator, so I'm not going to be destroying my eardrums. We can test it at various volumes, plus the neighbors won't come knocking down the house. Now, this is on the same final setting as last week. I am only recording this through a Shure SM57 pointed at one of the vintage 30s in this top cabinet. Again, this is greenbacks and vintage 30s, like a Friedman cabinet would be, and it also is plugged into the bottom cabinet, which is G12 T75s, modern Chinese ones. So, looking at the front of this amplifier, again, we have presence, bass, middle, treble, master, gain, and then you have your clean channel, clean, treble, middle, and bass. Now, I did get the switches right in a lot of what I was talking about last week, but I went over the manual just to make sure, so let me go ahead and break that bad boy out. The voice switch, and I'm going to be reading verbatim from the manual, by the way. The voice switch is basically small cathode resistor bypass capacitors added to the cathode follower stage, V3B, allowing for variation in tone, especially the top end. Center is with no bypass capacitor. Now, it says this in the manual, but that's really for the deluxe version. Mine is simply a two-way toggle and has no center detent. The thick switch on the back, as I guessed, thickens up the tone of the amp by changing the coupling cap value of the V2B tube. Now, what's interesting is the bright switch on the front only affects the clean channel. Center is off, no bright capacitor selected. And it is indeed a three-way switch. As mentioned last time, the clean OD, HOD is the channel switcher, which is also affected by the foot switch. The S switch is a selection of gain for the overdrive channels. Basically selects three different configurations of cathode bypass resistors/capacitors on the V2B tube. And going back to the back, as I guessed, the era switch gives three options of gain, compression, and saturation to the overdrive channels, works by adding clippers to the circuit while center is without a clipper. Center will give the highest volume, so they say do adjust your master controls accordingly when this control is engaged. This switch, of course, is to help you get different eras of Marshall sound. If you want that no master volume sound versus a more modern sound, this switch is going to help you get there. And we'll, of course, play through that when we start playing with the various settings. Let's see what a basic tone is here. And of course, again, I am playing on my Greco EG600, DiMarzio Super Distortion in the bridge, DiMarzio Super 2 in the neck, and I am tuned in C. So there's the basic kind of crunch distortion tone that we had last time, and now I'm going to start playing around with the switches so we can hear the differences. Okay, subtle variation there on the voice switch. Not a huge amount of difference, but again, I think a lot of the switches are going to be giving subtle variations anyway. We'll skip over the bright for now just because I'm not on the clean channel yet, so I'm just going to skip right over here to the S. This is with it to the left. Centered. Okay, and now switching over to the other position. Oh, and now we have a lot of hum. I'm thinking we're going to be... Ooh, we're in Soldano territory. Bright, crunchy, aggressive. Boy, that is squishy sounding. Oh my goodness. So let's actually try some different combinations here. I'm going to go back all the way over to the left. I'm going to leave it still on the high OD setting. So I'm going to switch the voice over, and we'll go back over here and we'll play with the S switch. Back centered. Now let's go back over to the Soldano switch. Try that with the neck pickup. I wonder what happened if I turned down the tone. Super smooth. Almost so high gain, it's almost synthy. That's craziness. All right. Back over to everything being normal. Now I'm going to switch over to the clean channel. Let's tune it. Okay, so now we are on the clean channel. As you can see, I have the clean set to about 4. The volume, that is. The treble, middle, and bass are set at about noon. Now at this point, the voice and S and the switches on the back, the era and the thickness switches aren't going to affect the clean channel, but the bright will. So we're going to start it with all the way to the left, so this should be the darkest. I'm on the bridge pickup and back up on the volume a little bit. Center detent. Actually, the darkest in the center. All the way to the right. Oh, really spiky. Whoo, that is really bright in the room. Roll back on the tone here. Okay, now I'm going to start playing around with the switches in the back, and I'm going to go back over to the OD channel. Alright, so I just flipped the M69 switch on the back. This is with the Overdrive channel again, same settings as before. I will go back and forth, but let's listen to the difference here in this meatiness switch. Boy, it's back to really sounding Soldano-ish. I wonder what would happen if I switched over on that S switch back over to that. But that's really thin. Gosh, that's insane. All right, back over to the left, and we're going to flip it back into the up position so you can hear back to back. That's down. That's with it up, so a lot more meaty. Now onto the era switch. The era switch was in the down position. It is now in the up position. Ooh, and it's, again, a lot more modern high gain than it is vintage high gain. I'm going to put that back down real quick. Yeah, that's definitely better. And just checking back with the instructions here, take a look at the era switch. Yeah, it says 3 options here. I must have read 3 options, but it's only a 2-way switch on mine. So this must be for the AH50 Deluxe. Now let's go to the HOD channel, which I'm going to click on the foot switch, and you can immediately hear much higher gain. It makes me wonder what it's going to sound like with this S all the way over. Man, even though it's a hearing safe levels, it's pretty sensitive. So even feedback is really easy to get. Now I am standing pretty close, but again, I mean, it's quiet enough that I can just stand here with it next to me and it's not killing my eardrums. But that is a really sensitive overdrive channel. Okay, now that I've played around with the various switches, and I'm going to go back onto the standard overdrive channel, bring that S back over to the center. I think it sounds really nice in the center. Voice switch to the left. This is going to be the presence control. That is just super bright and piercing. I think that actually sounds good. Let's stay there at 5. Bass control. Back up to the middle is about where I like it. Middle control. Treble control. Ooh, that is interactive and dark. Now this has all been with the master at basically just above 2, or to use the o'clock since I need to be consistent, just above 9 o'clock. Now the thing is I have to compensate on the bad cat as I turn the volume up, so let's turn the bad cat input down, turn the master up. I'm going to bring it up to about 6. I'm going to bring the gain back to about 6 as well. Bring the overall volume up a little bit. They are getting much more of the master volume kind of distortion instead of just the Soldano-ish preamp end of the world kind of sound. Let's hear what that sounds like on the high overdrive channel. Very cool sounding. All right, clean. So this is still around 4. Okay, brought the input down on the Bad Cat. Let's bring the clean volume up to about 6. Should be starting to get some serious clipping now. There it is. Bring the clean volume back to about 3. So, treble. Bring the bright back over to the left. Middle. Ooh, that just takes all the guts out of it. Ah, nice and nasally. Bass. Ah, the recorded on an old-time radio sound. Oh, nice and boom. Back over to Overdrive. So there you have it. There's the Ceriatone AH50. Again, less of a nutshell, more out of the nutshell, giving you more of the features. And I will provide a link to the manual that I said didn't exist in the last video. Sorry again about that. So you guys can take a look at what features there are on this thing. If there's something else you want to hear, do let me know. I am going to do another video where I play through my Stratocaster so that you can hear more clean tones and what it sounds like with a single coil guitar. Plus, I will also make good on my promise of re-uploading the audio of last week. Sorry about the phasing issues, because I usually account for that when I edit. Go ahead and watch some other videos that I've made. I'll put some links up on the screen, obviously. Do subscribe, and until next time, stay obsessed with guitars.